Hello, welcome back for the follow-up, and so good to reconnect after the few days to digest and experience some of the ideas in the foundation. Okay, I'll start with a very easy, reflective question. If you want to fly, what do you need to do? So, of course, we're talking about the experience of complete freedom and liberty. Is there any method? What would you say? And what would you advise? So I'll come back to that. You can please type. There's a quote by Nelson Mandela, and his legacy, his life being his legacy, he said, "There's no passion to be found playing small in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." In a way, no one would be satisfied unless they're fulfilling their potential. So coming back to the first question, it's actually a quote by Toni Morrison, very simple. If you want to fly, you have to give up the things that weigh you down. So let's see if we've managed to give up those things. Welcome into Prashant, and those who are with us, very welcome to come into the light, to come into camera if you're free. So yeah, light to Prashant.
Are we going to play some revision of the past?
No, I don't have anything prepared, but I can hold the fort. Yes, we like to revise with videos. It stimulates the reflection. Would you like to reflect back on the clans? Because this was the last lesson that we had, but also what it was pointing to, that our journey is long. And for me, this feeling of acceptance that comes if you see that there is an inevitable process. So this beautiful reconnection when the Brahmin comes, it is like getting the reboot. And I think today we'll be looking at how this maps into the understanding of time. And last few days been reconnecting with people from the past, and sometimes it feels like time is abstract. You maybe don't see someone for a while, you reconnect, and you're as if back in the same place. It's the same with our consciousness. I think we get reconnected to the honor of the true self the more we experience this perspective of the invisible traveler. And somehow this deity state, the virtue state, actually seems more like a reality, that right now the invisible traveler with his honor is more like an angel. He's not taking anything from this world. He's already full, he's already secure, and his feeling is to give. And the reflection of that in the deity phase, where there's a community of those who are in that experience and state, and it's normal. And all the cultures have some reference point to this perfection in their own way, and all are trying to get back to it in their own way. And as we learned this morning in the morning reading, we win through knowledge and understanding, born of security and love rather than force. So it would be nice to see. Yeah, welcome. Good morning. Hi to Prashant.
Hello, and good morning. And welcome back. as was quickly revised, we go through some simple basics and very relevant things that we touched, and hopefully you revised. We saw that there is a broken branch, and it is up to us to take support from the broken branch and how much support we take. There is no need to take support from a broken branch in the first place. And we are literally saying that this whole physical world is a broken branch. When you see from a bigger map, that is like a very, very blatant, obvious. Everything there is changing, everything is ending, everything is unpredictable, not in my control. And so it is like common sense. Why go into something that and take support from it? But we also saw Patthar Buddhi, stone intellect. There is no, you can't rationalize. We go into that, jump into it to a level where we are in it, we head down. It is almost like that. We live in it as if nothing else exists. That is extreme. Our ignorance also becomes extreme. And that is represented nicely in that story with Ravan. Ravan is embodiment of ignorance, embodiment of bondage. And as a result, in the sorrow, in a taking sorrow, and then a giving sorrow, life is so complicated for Ravan. And situation is such that in the present world, it all appears normal because this is what we know and this is what we have seen. It is like a complete blackout of any other option. What we have done over the different sessions, we have seen that there is the world behind all this. This is not the only option we have. We have the option to see the bigger map. We have the option to see ourselves. We wake up to ourselves, overcome the ego, false identity, discover our true family, discover our true friend, discover our home, and then we realize that, wow, what a prize. We all start with this, an extraordinary truth and a big prize. And then we come into this world more as knowing that it's an extra experience. We have our own world. In our last session, we saw that during our journey in this physical world, we go through different phases. We called them clans. And maybe a question to you, in which clan we go up? And in which clan we go down at a fast speed? Which phase we go down at a momentum, fast momentum, and which phase we go up? Question. Also, encouragement for you to come in the light and sound. Those who are able to come, it becomes more interactive.
Sound is in the chat, do you mean?
Yeah,
Coming to sound is
yeah.
sort of about, yeah, written sound.
Yeah.
Well, the Brahmin is the phase, someone put Brahmin or deity to go up.
and in which phase we come down at a properly at a fast pace.
Is it the Shudra? Warrior? Demon? Or maybe it's the merchant.
We go up only in the Brahmin phase, not even the deity. As was said, deity becomes warrior, so he comes down, you see. Only as a Brahmin he is going up. And Shudra is the only phase when the momentum is full. His life is for hits, for indulgence. So that is the lowest phase. Today we are going to speak of the cyclical model of time. Here's another beautiful insight into our journey, experience. And in this context, I want to share first that in the world of philosophy, and in the world of science, and in the world of religion, what is happening? All these three institutions: science institution, philosophy institution, religion institution. They all are trying to explain where this world has come from. That is a big question that exists. They all are trying to give their different ideas. It is not that they're ideas. They are and then they try to see how it can be supported in different ways. In philosophy, there's lots of they have all different philosophers got their own idea. Religions, they might say God created this universe. And science, the popular model is Big Bang, something started. But each model has its limitations, and some not something that doesn't add up. So if you say God created, a question comes, who created God? In a science, Big Bang, they say it started with infinite energy. The Big Bang happened in somewhere, so Big Bang happened with the infinite energy. So who created that energy? There's no answer. So you have to say God created in some form. It is a complicated and different. So there are people, professors, and teaching and doing research, and you ask them, "Are you sure about this model?" And their answers will be, "Don't know." If the top scientist, their position is, "We don't know." Some half scientists, they will be fanatic about something, and just like in religion, some can become fanatic. Same thing you will see in other fields also. But if you talk to someone who knows the subject properly, he will say this is a model. And that is what they will say. And so we are going to speak of another model today. And in this model, the difference between this model, what we are going to speak, and all the other models, or science models especially, is that we are understanding about souls. That makes a huge difference. Science model is based soulless. They exclude soul. So they have to explain everything based on the matter. So in this model, we exist as souls in our home. And we are immortal. This world is eternal. All these living stars, they exist forever. Eternity. No one has created this home. No one can change it. That is the way it exists. Model says like this. It is timeless. We just need to use a different intellect to see it. Bit like, you remove the blinkers and then you can see it better. So that is the way that the science model, with limitations. We are talking about spiritual model. Now, in the world of science, there are people like, I am using the name of Julian Barber. He's a cosmologist based in Oxford. Now he's old, but you might be able to see some of his YouTube interviews. And his book is called The End of Time, possibly written more than 20 years ago. And what he's saying in this book, it is what the reason I'm quoting him. He's a scientist. He knows everything, what a Big Bang is and all the models that are available. He knows it. He teaches them as a model. But his understanding is that is not explaining the world. We have to have another model. And this model is the end of time. And in this model, what he's really saying is that this world, the time, it doesn't exist. That is what he is saying. And the position he takes is history doesn't exist. To make it simple, like if you see bone, in the ground, you dig and you see a bone, maybe bone of some creature, and he says, as a scientist, he can say this bone is there now, that he can say. Did this bone exist 100 years ago? He says, I cannot make that statement because it is a projection based upon the present. I have not seen it 100 years ago. So he says that will be a premise, speculation that it existed 100 years ago. Did the animal exist 100 years ago? No, that's a speculation. But all that we can say is bone exists now, stones exist now, fossils exist now. Whatever we see, this exists now. And the further argument may be, if you have experienced it 100 years ago, then we can talk about it. If you are not experienced, then it is not scientific. It's a projection. He's a cosmologist and quantum physicist. And in quantum physics, just to give you some idea, subatomic particle in an electron, say, it exists here. Next thing, it exists here. Third thing, it may exist here. And then it exists here. It doesn't. There isn't. You don't see it going from one to the other. That's why it is called quantum leap. Quantum leap. One moment it is here, next moment it is here, next moment it is here. At a subatomic level, you see this. You don't see a sort of progression, continuous progression. You don't see the way it is we expect at a physical level. So there is a principle within quantum physics called principle of uncertainty. Uncertainty principle is a term officially, principle of uncertainty. So you cannot be certain about what is to happen. The pattern of this world is like this, unpredictable, things. So if it is happening at a subatomic, he builds on it that this is the way the larger universe is. And if we are seeing some pattern, it is coincidental. It is apparent. There are no innate pattern doesn't exist, and history is a projection. I hope I'm clear, but one can see his videos if one wants to know more. Now let us see our model of cyclical time. So what we are saying here, the souls exist in the physical world. Sorry, souls exist in the spiritual world. And in the physical world, we come into the physical world as we see, as travelers. Who comes? The souls come. And this physical world is full of these different slides, different images. In other words, this world is a world of film. And what we are seeing here, we are watching a film. In film, what happens when you are watching a film? You see different slides. Let's say you are watching a film for some 10 minutes. Every second, in 1 second, do you know how many slides are projected on the screen? You can make a, maybe Philip can tell us. Philip, Bavaria, when you are watching film, do you know how many slides you are watching in per second? Anyone can tell.
24.
Yeah, it is like that sort of number. You know, in television, there are more, and when you are watching it in the theater, there are less. But yes, you know, can you imagine? In 1 second, so many slides are projected per second, and you don't feel that they are separate slides because the mind-brain apparatus gives continuity to it. Something within us gives continuity. And that's why we feel this is a continuous movement. It's a James Bond running behind, you know, some going towards Casino Royale, you know, but actually there are different slides. Now, he's in this our model. We are this physical world that we are dealing with here. What you are seeing all around you, it's a film, three-dimensional film, much bit better than James Bond film. So you don't need to go to watch James Bond film. So here is a film, and with many slides, and we, the souls, are traveling through this at a certain speed. We have to travel at a speed. Only then we can give continuity to it. And so maybe we are watching more than 24 slides per second here. That's why it is more three-dimensional, most refined. It is perfect film that we are watching. I hope it is clear, but you will be able to listen to the recording. It is a little bit of you know, science, you know, sort of angle here, but it is easy. The whole thing is easy. We are not going to ramble on about science. So here now we are coming into the physical world. We are watching a film, and the film is cyclical, which means we come back to the starting position again. We start at a certain point and then we come back to the same point again. So we come down, souls come down, watch the film, and there comes a time the souls return back. Film is a separate reality. What we are talking so far, we have been speaking of that world as a world, story world. We spoke of that world as a theater, and what else we saw? It is a play, and different words we used. But we are saying it is in this model, we are seeing it as a film. and the souls are actually the audience. We are really just watching the film, and we are going in this direction. As we are watching, the slides are going past us, and we are watching this film. The souls are watching, souls are the audience. Right now, Prashant is talking, that is happening in the film, and the soul is watching this film. Now comes the model, the Raj Yoga model. Raj Yoga model tells us that this film goes through, as we inside change, it affects the world outside. Let me change this a little bit. Making it a bit smarter. So when we first start, our inner life is not like a triangle. What was our inner life?
Or like an oval.
Our inner life was 100% soul conscious. Because we have just come from the home. And in the home, we are not body conscious. To go back home, we have to be 100% soul conscious. So we are 100% soul conscious. So when we are experiencing the world, we will be experiencing best of the possible realities, best of the possible worlds. So we are watching the film, but even that film, we see golden aged plots. So this is called golden age of mankind, that first part of our physical experience. We will see it in more detail, what happens in the golden age, but enough to know that inner life is of full perfection. That means a lot. They are godlike. Their experience of bliss and happiness and love and fullness. That is what the inner life is. And the outer world is also of perfection, fullness, greatness. And there is forces of honor, if you remember. There are no Vinash forces. There is birth and death. It is not a one soul, one body continuing. In the experience, that is all happening in the film. Things change, things end, and we also the bodies change, but soul, they are soul conscious, 100% soul conscious. You can say that is the deity phase of the human existence. When we have crossed 25% of our inner journey, that inner soul also changes. I will show in the same image here, a little bit of body consciousness is coming in, represented by that blue mark, when we have crossed 25%. And then, it is happening right from the beginning, but we are talking about minute, maybe 0.1%. But by the time we are at the end of golden age, it is sufficient that our outer world also changes. And the next phase, we call it the silver age of mankind, which means during this time, we are not experiencing the perfection and greatness and fullness that we experienced earlier. We are experiencing a different world and a different. It is just maybe say you got a car. Car on the first day is one thing, and car after 1 month It is still the new car, but there is a little difference. It is used car. You won't call it a new car. Silver Age is a bit like second-hand heaven, but it is still soul conscious. We are still predominantly soul conscious. Like in that image that you see, body consciousness is just getting in, but we are the perfection, outer perfection, inner perfection still continues. Then when we reach the end of the Silver Age, means we have covered now half the film. That is quite a thing. For half the time we are experiencing this perfection, outer perfection, but also inner perfection. Now you reach this time when that downward spiral starts from the first second. As soon as we come, the force of gravity is acting, but we are sufficiently strong not to be affected, in the early stages, but it is acting. So now that one has started going down, there is a momentum. End of the Silver Age, you have reached 50% down. Fall is sufficient that Ravan's department is increasing. Soul consciousness is 50%. So it is inner score is 50-50. When it is 50%, it is very strategic. One straw more on one side changes the game completely. Something else is taking over. And I have a nice example. In 1979 in England, there was extreme left government, Labour government, and there was the extreme right Mrs. Thatcher party opposition. And there was a no confidence motion. And in the parliament, the score was equal. Both sides had equal votes. And the House of Commons sided with Mrs. Thatcher. And what happened as a result? The government changed from extreme left to extreme right. They were all equal. But just one person who is the speaker, he sided with Mrs. Thatcher. So the government changed for next 20 years or something like this. Everything changed. The policies changed from extreme left to extreme right. She just dismantled many unions and changed the country. And that pattern was followed by many other countries. She influenced, in that. So this is exactly what happens at the end of Silver Age. The score is 50-50. So one straw more, then body consciousness is now dominant, which means Ravan's world becomes dominant. And then we call that phase the Copper Age. The next phase is, this age is called the Copper Age of mankind. We can say in the Golden Age, they are deities. Silver Age, they are sort of going into that next phase where they are losing the deity, but warrior, not necessarily fighting, but adventure, that kind of spirit. But Copper Age is the age of merchants. So they are now, but more important, it is Ravan's department has started. From the Golden and Silver Age is largely deity world, and now deity to Ravan's world. It's a huge drop to go from soul conscious society, where they know of their immortality and being beyond harm, and to this life of ignorance, cross that line and go into where the physical world becomes your world. The story becomes your world. and you are from the first second, insecure. You are working in that broken branch, that unpredictable world has become your world. Ignorance has started. And so first time they are experiencing sorrow and worry, and they are experiencing envy. What are all these? They were experiencing life of love all this time. And what is happening here? So all these feelings are coming in, and it is like a degradation. Degradation has started. And this is like a big fall. Leave aside the outer fall that happens, but inner fall is a big thing that they are noticing. And it is the moment of trauma, psychic trauma. And that psychic trauma continues through the rest of the cycle, rest of the journey. Fall from silver age to copper age, that moment of fall. This is represented in the Old Testament when they say Adam eating the apple and then he doesn't deserve Garden of Eden. So what do you understand now? What was happening? Adam eating the apple. So which apple?
What's interesting in the scriptures, there's a more to that, isn't there? That symbolism, eating an apple from the knowledge of the tree of desire, isn't it? A bit more descriptive.
Yeah, yeah. So it was symbolic, it was not just one Adam, but a community of Adam. And it is not just one apple. Adam has been eating apples for a while, but it reaches the point. What is happening? At the end of Silver Age, started eating apple pie. So no more Garden of Eden is sent to earth. So the Copper Age starts. That is the like a earth that we know. And this is the time, sorrow start, illness start. You need hospitals, you need lawyers, you need, policemen, and war and weapons. And this is the world that we are familiar with, that Copper Age. This is the time also when the prophets come, scriptures come on the planet. In the Golden Age, Silver Age, there is no need of prophets. There is no need of scriptures. There is no concept of God in the Golden Age, Silver Age. In the Copper Age, prophets come at different places, different parts they play. Some knowledge comes, scriptures come in different form. Still, the fall continues. And then we find ourselves in the next age, and this age is called the Iron Age of mankind. Kali Yuga in the Golden Age is called Satya Yuga, Age of Truth, and Kali Yuga. Anyone knows what Kali Yuga, what it Kali Yuga stands for? Never asked. Sounds like the Dark Age, but it's an Iron Age. So in the Iron Age, just everything is getting worse. It is like that the system is falling apart. But the inner life, by the moment the Iron Age starts with the inner score that is 100% darkness. Once Ravan comes in, Ravan very quickly dismantles all the things that are divine. So it becomes a proper world of darkness, where that box that we speak of, the story box, that becomes your world. As if nothing else exists, that is all that exists. And you live in that full darkness. And this is now the Iron Age has started. Yeah, you want to add anything? Just want to add also in this model, population continues to grow. We said we all are actors. All the actors are in their home. That is the home of all the actors. All the actors don't come on the stage on the first day. Actors come on the stage according to the plots, according to the drama. So here in the golden age, the population is very, very small in this model. It is less than 1 million population. And then gradually population is increasing because new actors are joining the performance. Or you can say new spectators are joining the film theater. And the theater has to become bigger and the screen, much more bigger, wider screen, things are happening. And this continues, there's population growth. Once someone has come, he cannot just go back home in between. One reason, do you want to tell why? Why he cannot go back home once he has come down? He cannot go back home. Why not?
Well, one aspect is we might not actually want to, even though we might speak about it, but until he's 100% self-conscious, he can't go back.
That's right, yes. Because downward spiral has started. He has started creating attachments and bondages. And he dies. He cannot just go because he is tied already with this cage. And then he continues further, but he creates more bondages. He goes from deity to warrior to merchant to Shudra, and then so bondages are increasing. He cannot go back home. So in this model, the next phase, in the Iron Age, there's another phase. So let me represent this again. So we said there is the home, and then we also said we come in this cycle. It is becoming a perfect circle because of technology, not because of me. Even if I do something like this, even if I do, it becomes a straight line, unless I do something very artistic. It preserves the art. So in this model, there is a age at the end of the Iron Age. There is a short age, and that age is called a confluence age. So the confluence age. So confluence age has got significance because it is the age of transformation. From the Iron Age to go to the Golden Age, you just suddenly go into the Golden Age. It is as if you have to become worthy to go to the Golden Age. And the confluence age is the time for making yourself worthy of the Golden Age. So that is the confluence, and in Hindi it is called Sangam Yuga. Two things happen at the confluence age. To bring about this transformation, two things happen. Do you want to tell what are the two things that need to happen? And that will give us an idea when the confluence age, which is a confluence age. What is unique about a confluence age? Two things need to happen. And we said for transformation, to become worthy of golden age, you need to do something at the confluence age.
Yeah. Time of huge transformation, change. So you're asking, what is it that comes to create that change? So there has to be one that's a bridge between the old and the new, maybe one that's not come into the entropy, maybe call him God. Or understanding new. You mentioned, I think in one of the sessions, you need new information, a new factor should come in from that perspective. So maybe knowledge.
Yeah, in this model, it says, and we have discussed also so far, you need new knowledge, to bring about change happens either with knowledge or with the pain. People don't bring about change just like that. Like in golden age, even though they are coming down, they cannot change it. In silver age, they cannot create golden age because there is no knowledge and there is no pain. In copper age, the pain is there, but there is no right knowledge. And also at the confluence age, so the knowledge comes in, new knowledge comes in. And along with that, another factor that creates confluence age, the destruction happens. So there are two things that happen at the confluence age. One is the God's incarnation. Ram himself has to come to give this knowledge. So God doesn't just stay in the supreme home. Say if there is a great cardiac surgeon, but he just stays in the home, and will you call him a cardiac surgeon? And he's never come in the theater, just stays in the home. He may be great, but he has not performed any surgery. In the same way here, this supreme friend and Ram, who has secrets of how Sita can become free from Ravan, he wants to help. Now he will not just stay in the home, then we will not even know that he exists. But he plays a part. In reality, he plays a part for the journey of Sita. And so that is Ram and the Supreme Soul playing the part. That is the beginning of the confluence age. End of the confluence age is when destruction takes place. Pain comes. That's the end of the silver age, the end of the confluence age. This is a game for everyone. Animals, human beings, we'll all learn through wisdom or through pain. Yeah, you want to say something?
It's interesting and possibly good to expand a bit more on this point that the population continues to grow the whole time. Because what I'm understanding is you have a system here of entropy. So we come with a full battery clarity and that divinity. And then because of the length of time in this position of watching the film or being associated with it, there's a sort of a losing of power as we get drawn in. So that shift to the warrior, where there's a beginning of this, I think it was, what was this, sort of getting into a desire, I think, and then the courage, etc. But then because of the population growing, you've got another energy, which is like a negentropy, I think it's called, where it's the new ones coming from the home are kind of bringing in new energy into the system in a way which is distorting, isn't it? It's like you don't, it doesn't always, like the last 100 years appeared to be better than the years before that.
Mm.
So things sometimes appear to be getting better, but if you look at the population, then it explains it. So I don't know whether you want to say a bit more about that. It becomes interesting to zoom out and see that actually the pattern of entropy is true for civilizations. We definitely see the rise and fall. And
Yeah, no, you explained already, but we'll come to this
yes,
different aspects in time.
yeah.
So we saw here the confluence time when the knowledge comes and also the pain comes, and one way or the other, or maybe the combination of both, is the time for everyone to return back home. Because you become eligible to return home. To return home, as was said before, you have to be 100% soul conscious. You cannot return home with luggage. And then in its own time, they start the journey again. The next cycle starts. So there, let us hear some thoughts from you. So far we have discussed the model.
Yes, there aren't any questions directly connected to the model. There's something which is more about wanting to understand intuition. Maybe we can come to that later. But maybe other questions about the model will come, but not at the moment. I think the interesting aspect that continuity is an illusion. It really shows the need for the detachment. Yes, so that's just a comment.
What we have seen so far is, as we saw, cyclical model. This is the knowledge. It says that this whole film is not a long film. It doesn't need to be millions of years. In a film, you are watching a film, you may see sometimes a castle and buildings and people, but the film is of 1 hour. Film is of 3 hours. You see many things, but whole thing is so short. Same here. This is a film. You may see many things within it, but it is a film, and a film can be very short. So it says that we'll come into more details later. We said there is a birth, then rebirth, there's birth, death, rebirth, that happens through the cycle. Everyone goes through these different phases, from deity to the Shudra to the demon and Brahmin again. And then as a Brahmin, confluence age is the age of Brahmins. Iron age is the age of Shudras. Dominated by Shudras. But then as was mentioned, new souls are coming in. And it is a nice term, gentropy. I want to know more about this. But it is like that these new souls, they bring some freshness in the world, they come with new ideas, fresh air, because they are like deities within the community. They are usually, people like to see them, hear them, they become the celebrities usually. They all, in the Iron Age, even the new souls, they are pulled by this gravity more faster. So they are celebrities within the same life. They are already into some kind of trouble, So that is because they are already moving from deity to the merchant or Shudra even, very soon. So that pattern you will see, and but the film is a short film. Now this is a model. We said there are different models in different ways: science model, religious model, this model. Which model is the right model? In science itself, it says the model is the right model that can explain more things. And if there is something that can explain, now this model has a power to explain things that ordinarily we or other models cannot explain. Like, for example, science models cannot explain many things. We just call them paranormal. We have created a box and called it paranormal. And whatever that they cannot explain, you put it in the box called paranormal. But it is paranormal in that model. We don't say anything is paranormal here. There is a journey of the souls, and it is, there is a film we are watching. In the medical world, there is one condition, and that condition, it appears like a cerebral condition, but they cannot see movement. That block, the person cannot see movement. So that one lady in Munich, Philip might be able to connect. She is seeing a car in the road. She want to cross the road. She's seeing a car, and next thing she's seeing car in front of her, but she's seeing a still image of the car. And next thing she's seeing, car has already gone to a different place. So she doesn't see the car moving. She sees static positions of the car. These are rare conditions connected with the brain. Even someone like neurologist by name Oliver Sacks from New York, he was asked which condition is, because he is the one who is writing different books on or interesting cases that neurology has shown him. He was asked which is the most interesting case you find and you cannot explain. And he gave an example of this lady in Germany, Munich, who cannot see movement and he cannot explain it. Oliver Sacks, saying this. And now we can say he cannot explain it because the universe is made in the model of the stills, model of the film. So when you are seeing in the other model, you cannot explain it. When you can see it in the model of the film, sometimes film, so whatever her brain, she cannot move with the, we said you need mind-brain apparatus to give continuity to this. And if this mind-brain apparatus cannot give continuity, her world becomes one where she cannot see movement. Now we can create some time for rooms, 10 minutes, and it appears that it is possible. and we meet after 10 minutes.
Yes, sure. So we will just share a reflective question that might help begin the discussion, and then we'll open up and share some thoughts. So just taking a moment for this question. Sure. Nice that we could create this time, and perhaps we'll just have a pause for half a minute to come into the simplicity of the perspective of the clean star. Thank you. So please do, as always, share if there's anything you'd like to highlight or underline in your sharing or in the session. And welcome back to Prashant. So we've got just over 10 minutes for the last part. Hi.
So hello and welcome back. So what we have discussed in it, we are talking about a short cyclical reality. We are the souls who are traveling through this film world, but more like watching a film, and different scenes happen. This explains to us how it is possible for people to have precognition. Many times people can see the future, what is to come, with precise details. One is sometimes just a feeling comes, but sometimes they can see exact details. Sometimes many years before what is to happen, they have seen. How is that possible? Others might say it is paranormal, or by chance. Here it doesn't say chance. It is a film that already is there, and we have been through that film before. That this is another aspect. We have seen this same film before. We are coming back, watching that film again this time, and we have past memories of the film, but we can also, as if, fast forward and see. Some are able to, fast forward and see what is to happen in the future. Come back and tell. Everyone knows about Nostradamus. Even as a child, he was like a friends with friends. It was a joke. He could tell them what the teacher is going to tell next, and all the children, his friends, they would be. It was a joke for them, a school joke that he knows what is to happen. But in time, he was able to tell what is to happen to Napoleon, and what is to happen to Hitler, and what is to happen to Churchill, and Kennedy's. It spoke about Pasteur Institute with names, some of these things with names and numbers. He spoke about 500 men will attack Palace of Tiles. And Palace of Tiles was built 180 years after his death by Marie Antoinette. It was called Palace of Tiles. And history books say 500 men did attack the Palace of Tiles. Gives you an idea how precise, his predictions were. And so how is that possible? There are no answers in the other models, whereas here you see that there is. Now it also means our next journey is fixed already. We don't have to think too much. It is on the rails. We'll see what is to happen next. It also tells us be carefree, step back, watch you act, but lots of don't worry over the top about things. Don't be bothered about the film. Watch the film. Now let us come into the experience. If you have any questions, definitely type, but let us come. And I wanted to ask, sorry about the short notice, Kirti, Dr. Kirti Parashar, if you'd like to say hello at some point and just a few minutes, share your recent reflections or what, not necessarily based on today, but over the last week, any important reflections, realizations after a few minutes.
Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Thank you. Sure. So during this few minutes, we come to our best intellect. And with this best intellect, we can see the film in a big film. We can watch it. Everything that we are seeing, even right now, Prashant talking, that is happening in the film, fixed, repeating film. And who is watching this film? The invisible witness. And the invisible witness is part of the other world, alokik world.
Om Shanti. Om
Yeah.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
I think I am audible clearly.
Yes.
I just want to share my experience from the last Sanjeevani retreat as well, because today, yes, I joined a little bit late. I was caught up with my patients. So what I learned and what I am practicing also, that Baba has said in the Murlis that what jo bhi ho raha hai in Hindi, whatever is happening right now is only to make you complete and perfect. And what Prashant Bhai ji has made us experienced as well as taught, that if I will learn not through wisdom, then I will have to give penalties. So it is better to learn through wisdom. That is the Baba's knowledge, what he has given. And we have to practice a lot. That is the false eye and true eye. So what I am practicing these days after the Sanjeevani retreat sessions, that I'm checking every time कि if I am feeding my false eye, if someone praises me like my classes or anything, if someone praises me, then at that time only, at that point, at that moment, I used to check it whether this praise is feeding my false I. So this what has made this is really helping me out to achieve my goals. And throughout the day, there are many such, you know, either people will criticize you or they will praise you. And whenever someone even criticize me, then also I used to check, because they are not criticizing me, that is my false I. What I used to, through the metaphor of the plant, if I am planting a tree and I am attached with the tree, and if someone praises the tree, I feel that it's, I take it personally actually. So my experience is like this, and I'm still practicing the difference between false I and uh, just, it is very interesting that now I see my body as a false I, that small letter I, and the capital letter I is I, the soul in the Paramdham. So this is helping me really. Thank you so much. And I'm still practicing, and what I'm doing, I'm still revising the previous sessions, because these are so much deeper that it cannot be done in just one go. So I wanted to be with this group a little longer so that I can achieve my goals. What Baba used to see me as a complete and perfect, and I can serve also. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Thank you for joining at a short notice and from work, from the ward.
In India, actually, I used to finish our OPD by 4 p.m.
Sure, sure.
Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Shanti. So now we come to Sarah, and we are finishing today a little earlier, and today and tomorrow. But Sarah, want to share any final thoughts or any comments, questions from others?
If I can squeeze in a question. Actually, there was one separate question, but in the context of what was just shared, it feels really beautiful, rebalancing, to be carefree and to step back and know that everything is in place and not to be over the top worried. There's no philosophy that I've come across that can give you this much freedom, but maybe a question that does arise, how to not give that to Maya. Do you have any?
Yeah, sure. We often say, give the example of, say, you are playing a sport, you are playing football. You know beforehand it is just a game and it doesn't affect your life at all. If you lose, it doesn't affect your life. But you still go there and you play to win. You work really hard. No other time you run and jump and exhausted and still run. And others push you and you still tolerate all this. It doesn't happen, but you are still working so hard and fired to score the goal. When it really, it is already not affecting your life. So we have got this spirit. Naturally, the spirit comes, play spirit. Same happens here. You understand it is a game. You understand it is a film. You understand it is fixed also. But still, there is this energy when you are coming here. You are playing to win, and so you don't let laziness take over. Or if you are in the right space, it is a space where there is a balance.
Yeah,
We
that's helpful.
sometimes use it like right brain and left brain. This paradox happens. One side says it is just a game, and you have lightness because of it. and the other side says you are going to win this game. So you are using all your skills to play the game well.
Yeah, the operative word there is balance, isn't it? So we get to learn how to, in a way, use this knowledge to create that. And it reminded me of something that said sometimes you won't say, if it's predestined, I'll have breakfast. You will generally make the effort to get the breakfast. So we kind of can tell then whether we are getting the prompt of Maya. Yes. So yeah, we've come to time. If there's anything you want to share finally, maybe a homework, and then we'll plan to meet again tomorrow.
Yeah, one homework is we spoke about the new knowledge comes, something to reflect. New knowledge comes where, when, how. Which is that with new knowledge, we'll be discussing it more tomorrow. Big secrets.
And the effect of new knowledge in the system is a beautiful thing. And intuition is meaning Paris. Kamala is really into intuition at the moment. Or they're two separate things?
They separate. Intuition is everyone has this skill, just like we have ability to understand things, see things, and reflect on things. Intuition is another skill everyone has got. Some might discourage it, some encourage it, some promote that skill, but some, especially in the West, they rely so much on ChatGPT that they discourage intuition. Some other places, they trust their intuition, they promote it, and they need less of ChatGPT.
And she's saying, is instinct ego?
Separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Separate things.
Yeah.
But main thing is get the Paris, the spiritual side. And everything.
Yeah. Then what if there is a Paras? Everything is divinized. But even those who are Pattar, they may still have intuition.
Yeah, that's the important part. Yeah. So thank you. Enjoy the homework, reflection, and we'll meet again tomorrow. Thank you.